Hey everybody!
Chris and Kristy coming to you today with a market update.
We started doing this during the coronavirus outbreak. There's a lot of negative information out there. There's a lot of political spin information out there. We just wanted to give you real data as to what's going on in the Atlanta real estate market. And when we say Atlanta, we mean everybody. Gwinnett County, Forsyth, Hall, all the big guys. We want to talk to you about what's going on all around Atlanta during the coronavirus outbreak.
So, in the last 7 days, we have seen a drop in inventory levels. In the most recent numbers we gave you 2 weeks ago, we had 2,243 new listings that week, and this past week we only had 1,790 new listings. So, slight lower numbers there with the number of listings.
Not as many people deciding to put their home up for sale.
Exactly.
We normally would see in the spring it would continue to amp up. So in the third week of April, we are seeing a dip.
And as far as price decreases, we were seeing a good number of price decreases 2 weeks ago, and we're pretty much on par with the same number. Not seeing a big difference in that category. The bigger difference that we're seeing is the number of homes that are actually going under contract. So a lot less people out looking at property right now, and we're definitely seeing that reflected in the numbers. The number of pending properties that we had before.
Yeah, you'll see this on your screen, but just say the numbers out loud. Go ahead.
The number of pending properties that we had 2 weeks ago was 791, and this past week we only had 224.
Way down.
Yes, so 224, and those are properties that are just in the beginning stages of their contract under due diligence. And then the ones that are past due diligence, we had 2 weeks ago 1,793, and this past week only 727.
So it's 1,000 less. We almost had 1,800 at the beginning of April, and now we have less than 800 in the third week of April.
And our closing numbers did also fall. We had 2,240 closings. However, that included closings at the end of the month, which we know historically a lot of people close at the end of the month. And so this past week, our closing number was only 1,476 properties.
Which is not bad for a third week in April. We'll see how it does again at the last week of April, which traditionally would be larger. So we'll see if that trend happens or if it is still continuing to go down.
So Chris and I don't really need a chart to show us this next stat. We are monitoring this on our own properties and listings that we have for sale.
But we'll still show you the chart.
Yes, absolutely. So typically at this time of year, our number of showings is increasing. In February, the number of showings per listing was averaging just over 6 showings, and that is dropped down to 5.6 showings. So almost one less showing per property over the last month on average.
Yeah.
So that gives you an idea of what's going on in the market. What we're doing to combat that, because we know that more people are online, is we've spent a significant amount of time making sure that our listings have 360-degree virtual tours.
Yep.
And video, because buyers aren't going to get out and don't feel comfortable getting out. We make sure that they have video.
And accurate photography. That is nice and doesn't trick you, but does show the property in an accurate light. So what you see in the photos, if you go to Zillow or whatever website you use, and when you go actually see one of our listings, it should be a pretty close match.
Absolutely. So what we wanted to show you is a little screenshot of what the difference it makes when you have 360 tour video, photography, outstanding, descriptions on your properties, what the difference is between our listing and maybe another listing in the neighborhood. So we're going to give you an example of one of our properties.
In Brookhaven.
If you look at the screen now, you'll see our property at 2689 Derby Walk, and that's in Brookhaven. And our website, of course, has all the information that you could find, all the photos and virtual tour at dreamhousehunt.com.
You can go on Zillow right now and look up this address if you don't believe us, 2689 Derby Walk in Brookhaven. And when you see the photos, you're going to be like, wow, that's amazing. That probably doesn't really look like that, but it actually is an amazing listing. So when you go inside, it does actually look like that.
So he might be a little biased.
I think the photos are accurate.
So when you do go to Zillow, if you're using Zillow as one of your search platforms when you're looking for properties, you're going to notice that on Zillow there are some stats. And the stats will show you how many days on the market it's been on Zillow. Mm-hmm. It'll tell you how many views that property has had and how many saves that property has had. Mm-hmm. And those are really good indicators of how well the agent is marketing the property.
Yeah.
So on your screen now, you can see that 2689 Derby Walk has been on the market for 16 days. It has had 603 views.
It was listed after the Corona shutdown.
And 26 saves. So we have 26 buyers that have saved this property. And, you know, they're probably waiting till they can...
They haven't come to see the property, I know for a fact. I've had one showing on this property, which would not be normal for a Brookhaven townhouse in this condition. And we had a virtual open house instead of a real open house, so nobody came to that because we weren't allowed to really have an open house and have people come into the property.
So what we wanted to show you was, in comparison, down the street in the same neighborhood, there is another property for sale. Mm-hmm. And if you compare our marketing to that marketing and what we're doing versus what this property shows on Zillow, you will see a big difference in how our exposure compares to others. So I'm switching over to another property down the street.
Yep, same neighborhood, been on the market a lot longer, 84 days, and only has about half of the views, 322 views, and only 5 people have saved it.
So one of the things I just want to point out is, like I said, our properties do have a 360 tour where buyers can walk through the property. And we also have, in addition to that, another video loaded for the property. And
Does this one have a tour?
No tour.
This one has no tour, no video. The lighting on the photos is kind of dark. The photos are kind of cluttery of showing the people's personal items in the photos.
So anyways, just to give you an idea what the Vallee team's doing different to make sure that when you list your property with us, you get the maximum exposure.
Yeah, even during Corona, we want maximum exposure. Even though there's 26 people that have saved it and they haven't come to see the property, they're probably waiting until they can go out again, and they would probably, I don't think all 26 of them would see it, but I think showings would increase once the stay-at-home order is lifted.
Absolutely, which I'm hopeful we're getting closer.
Yeah, it was, May 1st, I believe everybody's saying, but we'll see.
We'll see. So just to touch back on just some historical
This was a chart
data.
we showed last time when we did our market update.
Yes.
Even though it's the same, it hasn't changed. We just want to show you what happens year to year for the last, 5 or 6 years? Is it 5? Well, 6 years. We've got 6 years of data right here. And traditionally, sales start slow in January. They build up into the spring. They peak into the summer. They level off. And then around, October, November, you usually get a little bit of a spike. And then you have a dip going into Thanksgiving and Christmas.
So what we're expecting is basically, we're considering this time our holiday dip, for the market.
Yeah, this year's graph, once it gets put up there's going to be a dip during the Corona, and then everything else is going to trend just like what you're seeing on this chart right here.
So again, we're expecting the housing market to
rebound,
really boom in the third quarter. We just want to let you know that we're here for you. If you have any questions or if there's anything we can help you with, just give us a call. We're happy to help answer any questions that you might have.
You might feel like now is not the time to list your home, or now is not the time to buy a home, and that's fine. But what you should be doing is preparing for once the market does pick back up. Do you have a plan in place, and are you ready to either list your home or to go look for a home at that time? And we'd be glad to talk to you during this time so that you are prepared once things change later this year.
And stay tuned next week. We're going to talk about what the difference is in deferments and forbearance and how to negotiate that with your mortgage company. If you're in a situation where you've lost hours or maybe you're unemployed, we're going to talk about some ways that you can talk to your mortgage company and see how we can help you with those challenges as well.
If that's something that interests you, comment on this video and let us know, and that way we'll try to go. If you have any questions, let us know, and we'll try to get that answered or go in those directions during that next video.
And you're welcome to send us a private message if you don't want to, make a Facebook
Yeah, if you don't want to do a public comment, you can message us privately as well.
And we'll definitely keep that confidential.
All right, you guys, that's our market update.
Have a great weekend, and we're here if you need us.
We'll talk to you soon.